As a man who wants to go far in life, learn to be bored, silent, and alone. When I say as a man who wants to go far in life, learn to be bored, silent, and alone, it is not motivational advice. It is a diagnosis of why most people never become exceptional. Let's unpack each part carefully. Learn to be bored. Most people cannot tolerate boredom. The moment life becomes repetitive or slow, they escape into Instagram, YouTube, new ideas, new goals, new relationships, constant stimulation. But anything meaningful in life requires long stretches of monotony. Think about the things you care about: building a business, mastering sales, building a strong body, learning deeply, creating wealth. All of these involve repetition. For example, making hundreds of sales calls, doing thousands of gym workouts, reading hundreds of pages, solving the same type of problem repeatedly. None of this is exciting, it is mechanical. Most people quit here because their brain says, "This is boring, I need something new." The man who goes far develops a rare skill. He can stay with the boring things longer than everyone else. That is where mastery begins. Learn to be silent. The modern world rewards noise. People constantly announce their plans, post their progress, debate opinions, explain their philosophies, seek validation, but noise leaks energy. Every time you talk about your plans, your brain gets a small reward, as if the work has already been done. The silent man does something different. He works quietly, studies quietly, builds quietly, improves quietly. No announcements, no performance, just execution. Silence also sharpens perception. When you talk less, you start noticing things others miss: how people behave, how markets move, where opportunities exist, where mistakes happen. Silence turns observation into a weapon. Learn to be alone. Most people are uncomfortable with solitude. When they are alone, they feel restless, anxious, empty, bored. So they constantly seek company, messages, conversations, or entertainment. But solitude is where clarity emerges. When you spend time alone, you begin to see your own patterns. You understand your weaknesses. You think independently. Without solitude, you end up living other people's lives. You follow trends, opinions, social pressure, cultural scripts. The man who spends time alone develops independent thinking, and independent thinking is the birthplace of entrepreneurs, creators, innovators, philosophers. Why these three things work together? Boredom, silence, and solitude. Boredom, silence, and solitude create a powerful environment. When you combine them, you remove distraction, validation, social pressure. What remains is pure work, and pure work compounds. This is very similar to the mindset you've been building recently, focusing on consistent gym training, learning sales deeply, reading and thinking, journaling and walking alone. Those habits already place you on the path of quiet compounding, the deeper meaning. The real message is this: the world is addicted to stimulation and attention. But the people who create extraordinary results often live in the opposite way: repetitive work, quiet execution, long periods of solitude. From the outside, their life looks boring. From the inside, it is focused and powerful. A simple way to remember it: boredom builds discipline, silence builds focus, solitude builds clarity, and when those three combine, your work begins to compound. Be boring, build boring business, do boring workouts, read boring books, do boring courses, eat boring foods. As a man who wants to go far in life, learn to be bored, silent, and alone. First, understand something fundamental. The modern world is engineered to keep you excited. Excited about new business ideas, new productivity systems, new workouts, new books, new investments, new relationships, new pleasures. Everything must feel stimulating. Why? Because the mind is addicted to stimulation, and stimulation is the enemy of mastery. When I say be boring, I'm not speaking about personality, I'm speaking about behavior. The people who go far in life are doing the same things over and over again, quietly, without emotional fireworks. Let's examine your life. You go to the gym, one day you feel motivated, another day you feel bored, another day you want to try a new program, another day you watch 5 YouTube videos about optimal training. Another day you wonder if you should try CrossFit. Another day you wonder if running is better. This is not training, this is entertainment. The man who becomes formidable does something very different. He does the same compound lifts, the same runs, the same routine, the same meals, the same sleep schedule for years. No excitement, no drama, just repetition. And repetition is boring, but repetition is also where transformation happens. The same applies to business. People want exciting startups, disruptive ideas, revolutionary concepts. But most wealth in the world is built through boring businesses. Logistics, manufacturing, distribution, software tools, infrastructure, accounting, compliance, supply chains. These are not exciting, but they produce billions. Because boring businesses solve real problems repeatedly. Now let us go deeper. The real reason people cannot tolerate boredom is this. Boredom exposes them to themselves. When the stimulation stops, they feel empty, restless, anxious, lonely. So they escape into social media, relationships, new plans, new ideas, new goals. But the man who wishes to go far must develop the capacity to sit inside boredom without escaping. Because that is where focus is born. That is where clarity emerges. That is where discipline is forged. You told me recently you run, you lift, you journal, you read, you study sales. Good. Now imagine doing those exact same things every day for the next 10 years. No excitement, no applause, no validation, just silence, just work, just repetition. That is the life of a dangerous man. The world rewards consistency, not excitement. But the mind worships excitement. So the man who succeeds learns a rare skill. He becomes comfortable with monotony. Silence, boredom, solitude, these are not punishments. They are training environments. They remove noise. And when the noise disappears, something interesting happens. Your attention sharpens. Your mind stabilizes. Your work compounds. Your life begins to move in one direction. So when I say be boring, I mean this. Stop chasing stimulation. Stop needing emotional fireworks. Stop searching for exciting paths. Find a few important things, then repeat them until the world cannot ignore you. Quietly, relentlessly, for years. The noise man burns out. The bored man compounds. And in the end, compounding always wins. Why is the quiet, boring man dangerous? Because he cannot be distracted. Most men today live like this. New idea every week, new goal every month, new motivation every morning. Their attention is fragmented. And fragmented attention produces fragmented results. But the man who can tolerate boredom does something rare. He stays with the same thing, day after day, month after month, year after year. While everyone else keeps switching, this creates something very powerful: depth. Depth in skills, knowledge, reputation, network, results. Depth makes a man dangerous. Not aggression, not loudness, depth. Why does the noisy man burn out? Because noise consumes energy. Look at what noise actually means. Constantly seeking validation, chasing excitement, comparing with others, reacting emotionally, starting things but not finishing. Every one of these drains mental energy. So the noisy man lives in a cycle: excitement, effort, exhaustion, abandonment, new excitement. Nothing compounds, everything resets. Why does the bored man compound? Because compounding requires time plus repetition. Think about any domain, fitness. One workout changes nothing, but 300 workouts, 1000 workouts, 2000 workouts. Now the body transforms. Not because of intensity, because of consistency. Business. One sales call does nothing, but 10,000 conversations, 5,000 negotiations, hundreds of deals. Now you become dangerous in sales. Again, not excitement, repetition, knowledge. Reading one book doesn't change you, but 200 books, 10 years of thinking, thousands of notes. Now your thinking becomes different from the average person. That is compounding. Why does compounding always win? Because most people quit before compounding starts. Compounding has a strange shape. At first it looks like nothing is happening. Year 1, little change. Year 2, little change. Year 3, small progress. Most people stop here. But the man who stays continuous, year 5, noticeable. Year 7, impressive. Year 10, extraordinary. From the outside it looks like overnight success. But it was actually boring repetition for a decade. The real secret. The greatest advantage in the modern world is not intelligence, it is not talent, it is not connections, it is something far simpler, the ability to stay with something long enough for it to compound. Almost nobody can do this because boredom scares them. So, the man who can quietly do the same important things for 10-15 years becomes extremely powerful, not flashy, not loud, but formidable. That is why he is dangerous. So, listen, to go far in life, a man must become comfortable with what most people run away from: boredom, silence, solitude. The world trains people to seek stimulation, attention, and constant activity. But greatness rarely grows in noise, it grows in quiet repetition. The man who learns to tolerate boredom can repeat important actions long enough for them to compound. The man who learns silence protects his energy and sharpens his perception. The man who learns solitude develops independent thinking and inner clarity. While others chase excitement, validation, and novelty, he simply works day after day, year after year. From the outside, his life may appear uneventful. From the inside, something powerful is happening, steady, invisible compounding. And in the long run, the one who can quietly stay with what matters without needing noise, entertainment, or applause is the one who goes the farthest.